favorite word. Tariff! I always say tariffs is the most beautiful word to me in the dictionary. Then I was reprimanded by the fake news. They said, what about love, religion, and God? I said, I agree. Let's put God number one. Let's put religion number two. Love, I don't know. We got to put that number three, I guess, right? And then it's tariff. Because tariffs are going to make us rich as hell. It's going to bring our country's businesses back that left us.
That's the lowest number of illegal immigrants to come into this country. And by the way, we want people to come into the country, but they have to come in legally, just so we understand, right? She's going, yeah. We need them. We're going to need them because we're going to have so many companies come in just through adjustments in tariffs and taxes. They're going to come pouring into our country. And they're going to stay here because we're going to protect them with tariffs. The word tariff is the most beautiful word in the dictionary. More beautiful than love. More beautiful than respect. No, less beautiful than religion. I don't want to get into that. But the word tariff is the most beautiful word in the dictionary. Remember that. It's going to make our country rich. And our politicians were too stupid for so many years, or something else was going on. He goes crooked. That could be. Because it's so simple to understand.
Sir, you really have to see them. I said, I don't want to see him. I will impose whatever tariffs are required, 100%, 200%, 1,000%. My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day. Waiting for a long time. April 2nd, 2025 will forever be remembered as the day American industry was reborn, the day America's destiny was reclaimed, and the day that we began to make America wealthy again. We're going to make it wealthy, good and wealthy. In a few moments, I will sign a historic executive order instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. Reciprocal, that means they do it to us and we do it to them. Very simple, can't get any simpler than that. This is one of the most important days, in my opinion, in American history. It's our declaration of economic independence. But now it's our turn to prosper, and in so doing, use trillions and trillions of dollars to reduce our taxes and pay down our national debt, and it'll all happen very quickly. With today's action, we are finally going to be able to make America great again, greater than ever before. So, if you look at that, China, first row, China, 67%, that's tariffs charged to the USA, including currency manipulation and trade barriers. So 67%, I think you can, for the most part, see it. So it's 67%, so we're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%. I think, in other words, they charge us, we charge them less. So how can anybody be upset? They will be, because we never charged anybody anything, but now we're going to charge.
Anybody that's against tariffs, including the fake news Wall Street Journal and hedge funds, is only against them because these people or entities are controlled by China or other foreign or domestic companies. Anybody that loves and believes in the United States of America is in favor of tariffs. They should have never ended, in favor of the income tax system in 1913. The response to tariffs has been fantastic.
But reciprocal tariffs might push all of these bars, or will push all of these bars up considerably higher. So just look at how the picture of trade and tariffs in the US has changed dramatically as a result of these measures, which are coming in the next few days. And just to give you a few highlights of what we're talking about, so you could look, for instance, over there at China. So China, that's a 34% reciprocal tariff, but it takes the total amount, provided that goes on top of the existing tariff, it takes the total amount up above 50%. And you're talking, when tariffs are going above 50%, that makes any trade very, very difficult and far less likely to happen. The
United States has a chance to do something that should have been done decades ago. Don't be weak. Don't be stupid. Don't be a panican, a new party based on weak and stupid people. Be strong, be courageous, and patient, and greatness will be the result.
We will be taking in over $1 trillion over the next short period of time with the tariffs that I've already instituted. They're already in place. Now, what's going to happen with the market, I can't tell you, but I can tell you our country has gotten a lot stronger. And eventually, it'll be a country like no other. It'll be the most dominant country economically in the world.
The day began with what was described as a bloodbath on Asian markets. European markets then mirrored those losses, and for the third day running since the sweeping tariffs were announced, US markets plunged on opening. Then reports of a 90-day pause in the tariffs sent stocks up again, briefly, before the White House dismissed them as fake news, sending them tumbling down again.
Rates are plummeting. Oil prices are plummeting. Deregulation is happening. President Trump is not going to bend.
Islands inhabited only by penguins and seals, journalists around the world were actually scratching their heads. How exactly did that Trump administration calculate those so-called reciprocal tariffs? Well, Yale lecturer, journalist and author of Wisdom of Crowds, James Sorowicki, decided to double-check those maths. And he joins us now. James?
So my initial reaction, to be honest, was that they had just basically made up the numbers. I actually tweeted that out. I thought what they had done was taken tariff rates and then used that non-tariff trade barrier thing and kind of just, which is very subjective, how you value it, and they had just kind of fudged it to get to wherever they wanted to go. But that didn't really explain, why would Brazil only have a 10% rate? And so I actually just really started to mess around with math, and I mean very simple math, like literally just dividing, what if you divided imports by total trade, which honestly today still seems like it would make more sense, or what if you looked at trade deficit as a percentage of GDP, and I just went through a few options. There weren't that many options. And then I realized that it was the trade deficit the United States has with a country divided by our imports from that country. So that's the formula. If that number is less than 10%, then Trump just said it's 10%. Or if we have a surplus with a country, which we actually do with the UK and Brazil, then you get 10% as well. But it's basically just trade deficit divided by imports.
Just figured out where these fake tariff rates come from. They didn't actually calculate tariff rates plus non-tariff barriers, as they say they did. Instead, for every country, they just took our trade deficit with that country and divided it by the country's exports to us. So we have a $17.9 billion trade deficit with Indonesia. Its exports to us are $28 billion. $17.9 billion divided by $28 billion equals 64%, which Trump claims is the tariff rate Indonesia charges us. What extraordinary nonsense this is.
No, we literally calculated tariff and non-tariff barriers.
It's very complicated, but let me explain how it works. Give me that. All right, so that's a triangle. I don't know what that is, but up here, that's she from China. And that's me stabbing him with a sword. And then down here, that's some sideways boobs. And anyway, you get it. Your money's gone, and that's okay. We're going to figure it out.
I hope that the United States and Europe can establish a very close partnership. We obviously are, there's an alliance already, but I'm hopeful that there can be a very close relationship with America and Europe. And I'm hopeful, for example, with the tariffs, that at the end of the day, I hope it is agreed that both Europe and the United States should move, ideally, in my view, to a zero tariff situation, effectively creating a free trade zone between Europe and North America.
Elon Musk has said he hopes for zero tariffs between the U.S. and Europe. Is that a place you'd like to also get to?
Well, the problem is that Europe has made a fortune with us. You know, Europe also has had a tremendous surplus with the United States. Europe has treated us, it's a little smaller, but they've treated us very, very badly. China has, but Europe has also. Europe has been very, very bad to us. Europe has taken our leaders for a ride. They don't take our cars. They don't take our food products. They don't take anything. And we take their cars, Mercedes, Volkswagen, BMW. You know, we take their millions of cars. They take no cars.
Now, this is an American car. It's imported from America. It's left-hand drive. It looks like an American car. It's an American car. It pulls through as a HGV. We've just paid £11.50 to go on the M6 toll. It's £6 as a car. I'm going to tell you the MPG of this car. I'm going to give you a few seconds to guess what it gets. Okay? You're wrong. I'm going to sit here and say, oh, it gets this, but it doesn't. It actually gets a lot higher, which is what most car owners do for some reason. Or they say it gets lower. I don't know why people lie about it. I'm going to tell you what it actually gets, okay? I reset it in Wrexham in Wales. I reset it and I drove 4 hours on a motorway at 65 miles an hour, and I'm averaging 14.7 miles to the gallon on a motorway. Now, what's it like to drive on UK roads? Terrible. It's not that bad. You just can never take a mental second break. You have to be aware every single second of where you are, because you have to just hug, with it being left-hand drive, you have to just hug the left-hand side of the road. Just hug the left-hand side of the road and pray to God that your right-hand side of the car is on the other side of the road. Most times it's going to be, you just got to be kind of aware that other people can see it, and then they'll go on their left side of the road. It's just so big. I have no idea where the right side is, no idea my wheel, no idea what's to the right mix. I cannot see the wing mirror, that's in a different postcode.
American roads are as wide as an eagle's wingspan. So many US car models are built accordingly. Bigger frames, broader shoulders, and more interior space. Europe, by contrast, is dotted with narrow medieval streets, cramped city centres, and tiny parking spots that can barely accommodate a family hatchback, let alone a Ford F-150. Occasionally, you'll see a brave soul import an F-150 for personal use. Cue the viral videos of someone trying to shoehorn the truck into a parking garage in central London. No easy feat when you're wrestling with multi-story structures built decades ago, long before the invention of jumbo pickups. Even the relatively small SUVs by American standards, like the Chevrolet Equinox, feel elephantine on Barcelona's narrow roads. By contrast, the European bestseller might be a compact crossover like the Nissan Qashqai or Volkswagen Tiguan, specifically designed for smaller, tighter spaces.
It takes up the whole width of the road. Look, the cyclists. Look how far over I've got to get just to avoid the cyclists now. People are very friendly when you're in an F-150. That's the second person, isn't it? But as you can see, it's quite big. So normal places you can go in a 5 Series, for example. It's a bit tighter in this. Parking sensors. Down here it really is the width of the road. If another car came the other way, I would have to reverse. Squeeze through there. There's a good example. The road narrows here, and I can't see around the bush. All because I'm on the wrong side. We got lucky. Alright, I need to stop again because of traffic here.
Got no chance of getting this through with them. And another car. I only wanted to pop to the shop. This is taking the mick. Alright, let's try and park it here. Okay, that's taken up 3 spaces. Don't think that works, does it? I'm going to do a park it up on the drive test. Show you how hard it is just to park it on the drive every time you go out the house. And you can't do it in the night because the neighbours will just shout at you. It happens, trust me. Look at it trying to fit down here. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's a bit ridiculous, isn't it? Nice and tight to the fence. This bit though you've got to worry about. Get up the curb. See? And then there's a lip on the drive. Because it's so big. It's got to go right up against the house. And it still sticks out over the pavement.
They don't take our farm product. They don't take anything. Europe's treated us very badly. We put a big tariff on Europe. They are coming to the table. They want to talk. But there's no talk unless they pay us a lot of money on a yearly basis. Number one for present, but also for past. Because they've taken a lot of our wealth away, and we're not going to allow it to happen.
Multiple independent studies looked at the possible effects. One found it would cost the average American household $1,700 from higher prices. Another found it could cost more than 684,000 jobs. And they don't factor in how domestic goods might get more expensive, or retaliatory tariffs from other countries.
China this time hit back quite fast and strong, imposing the same 34% tariff rate on all U.S. products entering the country. And on top of that, it also put 7 more rare earth minerals into its export control list. So those minerals are used in all sorts of high-tech applications, including in the defense sector. So China this time around really showed that we wanted to match the U.S. strength in imposing these tariffs and other trade measures.
Yesterday, China issued retaliatory tariffs of 34%. On top of their already record-setting tariffs, non-monetary tariffs, illegal subsidization of companies, and massive long-term currency manipulation. Despite my warning that any country that retaliates against the U.S. by issuing additional tariffs above and beyond their already existing long-term tariff abuse of our nation will be immediately met with new and substantially higher tariffs over and above those initially set. Therefore, if China does not withdraw its 34% increase above their already long-term trading abuses by tomorrow, April 8th, 2025, the United States will impose additional tariffs on China of 50% effective April 9th. Additionally, all talks with China concerning their requested meetings with us will be terminated. Negotiations with other countries which have also requested meetings will begin taking place immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
My fellow Singaporeans, I've said before that the world is changing in ways that will disadvantage small open economies like Singapore. Some had previously questioned this assessment, but the recent Liberation Day announcement by the US leaves no room for doubt. It marks a seismic change in the global order. The era of rules-based globalization and free trade is over. We are entering a new phase, one that is more arbitrary, protectionist, and dangerous.
Well, so far there's no sign that President Trump is backing away from his tariff policy. For him, it has been an article of faith for decades, and today he threatened China with an additional 50% of tariffs after it retaliated last Friday with 35% against US products.
The falls we've seen on the US stock markets have been astonishing. I mean, the Dow Jones down almost 4% in one day, the broader S&P index down almost 5%, individual companies like Apple down more than 9% in one day. And look, you know, why does this matter? Well, a lot of Americans have a lot of their savings tied up in these stocks. They have their pensions tied up in these stocks. They will be looking at their pension accounts tonight and wondering what on earth is going on. Now, Donald Trump is promising, look, you know, there may be some pain short term, but long term there will be a lot of gains. He's talking about tax cuts. He's talking about prices eventually coming down. But as we've heard in, you know, around Baltimore today, a lot of people are really concerned about inflation coming roaring back. This is a massive economic gamble that Donald Trump is taking. And right now, no one knows if it's going to pay off.
Do you think Trump's tariff policy will work? Or do you think that it will spark a trade war? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
I always say tariffs is the most beautiful word to me in the dictionary. Tariff!